What's going on, Phillies fans? Welcome into the Phightins Final. I'm Big Al, and I'm here to bring you the last Phightins Final for the regular season at Citizens Bank Park. It's 159 games in the books. There's three more left for your Fightin' Phillies. Uh, Not much to talk about in the sense of, we're not going to talk about wild card standings. We'll talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to say we're not going to talk about it, but we know where the Phillies lie. Right now, we're just going to see who the Phillies are playing. That's what we're going to keep our eye on for right now. Phillies will return to Citizens Bank Park quickly, though. October 3rd. We'll start it all right back up this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 1, 2, 3 right in a row. Phillies looking to, looking to bring the wild card here and then take it to the division. Phillies do lose tonight, though, 3-2 to the Pirates. They win the series, but lose the third game and possible sweep. A little bit of a lighter game. Hey, Daniel, what's going on, buddy? Go Phillies, absolutely. A little bit of a, I don't want to say light, they did have the number oomph that had behind it, but the fans were still definitely in it. Harper's still fired up as usual, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but 3-2. They only let Zach Wheeler go a little bit into the game. Only went 11 4 innings. They were just resting his arm most likely and keeping him fresh because he will be making that start, like I said, come Wednesday. So they want to throw him out there, stress out his arm, stress him out. Just have him have a good 4 crisp innings and move on and be prepared for Wednesday for the first NL or the wild card game. So we'll have all that, but we'll talk about all the happenings today. But before we do that, guys, talking about postseason, you gotta get them tickets, and they're really hard to get. Most of the time, they're all sold out. But do you know who has tickets? Sherry'sTickets.com. That's who's got tickets. So what I'm going to tell you to do, go to Sherry'sTickets.com, find the tickets you want. You will not have to be worried about getting bamboozled with ridiculous fees. You know these playoff tickets of these other places have fees coming out the wazoo. Don't do it. Go to Sherry'sTickets.com. Use the promo code EOP10 to get that additional 10% off already great price tickets. And it doesn't matter if maybe you're not a Phillies fan. Maybe your wife is a theater fan, or you want to go to a concert or something. You go to Sherry'sTickets.com. I don't care where you are in the country. Get those tickets. Go to Sherry'sTickets.com. Use that promo code EOP10. Frequent and often, 10% off. Already great prices and no hidden fees. You gotta love it, guys. You're gonna be loving Sherry's tickets. Trust me. Come for this postseason. If you want to get down to CBP, most likely that's where you're going to have to go at this point if you don't already have tickets. You're going to have to go through Sherry'sTickets.com. So let's talk about, like I said, Wheeler went 4 innings, let up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, a walk, and 5 strikeouts in those 4 innings. So, like I said, good outing for him. Quick 4 innings. Just they rested him. They let him go crazy. Strom got an inning in, went 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, and a strikeout. Lorenzen went 2 innings with 3 hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Hoffman went 1 inning pitched with 1 hit, and Kimbrel went 1 inning with 2 strikeouts. But just not enough offensive power tonight for the Phillies to overcome the Pirates. I don't know. Maybe it's a little lackadaisical. Maybe it's just staying fresh and not worried about over stressing yourself or you don't want to pull something or hurt something. When the game's borderline is meaningless at this point to us. I like the fight. I like the fact that there is fight in these guys, but they're being I'll call it controlled aggression. They're not taking their foot off the gas, but they're not flooring it either. So it's real, just right there. And I do like that. I mean, it's not fun to watch in some ways. So sometimes I'm sure a lot of people, maybe you're joining into the finals just to see what happened because you're like, you know what, this is kind of a meaningless game in some way. So I'm not gonna sit there and divulge 2.5 hours, 3 hours to watching the game. But it was still an exciting game. Angel Hernandez made a special appearance in tonight's game, which we'll get to the Bryce Harper situation. Bryce Harper, it's a 3-2 count, swings, and the ball it checks the swing, and the ball is way down and inside. It's not even close to being a strike. They appeal to third base where Angel Hernandez was. Angel Hernandez calls him out, said he swung, and called it out on a strike. Bryce Harper took offense to it, and within seconds, Angel Hernandez threw Bryce Harper out. Bryce was not having it, and Bryce went and got in his face and gave him an earful. And because listen, Angel Hernandez he's got a he's got a reputation. You know, maybe because it's the Marlins game, maybe he didn't want to be there. Maybe strike him out. We'll move on and keep this game moving. That could be it. I don't know, but Angel Hernandez has a history with this Phillies team. History with with everything. A history with good and bad with this Phillies team, and a history with MLB. I mean, he's not loved by anyone, and how he still has a job sometimes is beyond me. Especially at this point in his career, his error margin for error sometimes is crazy. But I'm not here to give Angel Hernandez any more grief than that. But kind of hurt anybody who went to CBP for the last game of the regular season. Knowing maybe they won't be able to get playoff tickets. Maybe wanted to see Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper gets thrown out. So that's kind of a bit of a letdown. But what you want wouldn't let you down? PhillySportsTrips.com, guys. That's right. PhillySportsTrips.com has got it all for you. You can go to London to watch the Phillies take on the Mets next year from June 6th to the 12th. Go put your deposit down now. Go to what an amazing experience you could have. PhillySportsTrips.com has it all. They got all the away games locked up and bus trips and flights and everything. They just got back from Tampa Bay. I know they're going to have an amazing spread down at Xfinity Live for if you want to tailgate here. And talk about the tailgate. You can go buy a tailgate here not at Xfinity Live. I'm sorry, at Live Casino. And I've been there a few different times. The food is just as amazing as the tailgates. The drinks are there. Everybody's there. It's a nice section, right in the middle of everything. You don't have to walk far to get to the stadium. And the price is just right. I mean, the price is perfect for what you would pay to buy beer or anything like that, and get a food and grill and go down and do all that and have to do all that extra work. Probably pay more, and then you have to worry about everything else. And this way, everything's done for you. You go down, you have a good time, and then you head right into the game and have at it. So go to PhillySportsTrips.com, sign up, get in there. It's an amazing tailgate. Check it out, PhillySportsTrips.com. So let's talk about this lineup real quick. Last night was what we refer to as a hangover lineup, but this one everybody got a little bit more playing time. Some guys who played last night got a little time off, but Schwarber DH'd and started and led off tonight he went 1 for 3 with 1 run, an RBI, and a walk, but that came in the form of a leadoff home run, as we've seen Schwarber do many of times. So typical Kyle Schwarber moment. Turner was 3 for 4 with a run. Great to see him still, getting him, still running. I was always afraid, like, was that that magical moment where everybody cheered him? Was that going to run out? And it just, whatever it was, it really just sparked the flame, and it's been burning bright since. Harper, he was 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Castro took over for him in the 3 spot, and he went 0 for 2. Bohm was 0 for 4 tonight. Remuto was 0 for 4 tonight with a strikeout. Castellanos was 0 for 3 tonight with a walk and a strikeout. And Sosa was 1 for 4 with a strikeout. J.K. was 0 for 4 and a strikeout. And Pache was 0 for 4 and 3 strikeouts. So it wasn't a great night at the bats for this team, outside of Kyle Schwarber's big home run. Turner, he had, like I said, he was definitely the offensive output of the night. 3 for 4 with a run scored. And Harper had the other RBI. But I mean, not the other. I'm sorry, not the other RBI. The RBI, actually, there was no RBI on that one. Completely sorry, guys. That was an error, throwing error. Turner scored on. He stole third from second. And the delay or however you say his name, the catcher for the Pirates, completely. I mean, just like, he should have just not thrown that ball. I mean, the ball was thrown wide and high. Like, it would nobody. I mean, their third baseman Trolio could be 10 feet wide and 10 feet tall, and he would never be able to field that ball. Overthrew third base. Turner then took home. It's a 3-2 game. But that would be about it from the offensive standpoint for the Phightins Phils. Not much to talk about. I already talked, like I said, we mentioned the pitching was steady, and that's what we want. We wanted, give just to keep the consistency going for Wheeler. He got 4 innings tonight. Everybody else pitched very well tonight, except, Strom, struggled in that 5th inning, and that's where they took the lead, and he takes the L tonight for the Phillies. But they ultimately win the series, but lose tonight's game 2-3. But do you know where you can win all the time? I go with Dave Cherry. That's right, David R. Cherry. If I got hurt at work, you get hurt in a car accident, personal injury, criminal law. Cherry Injury Law is where I go. Cherry Injury Law is where you should go. CherryInjuryLaw.com. The Cherry firm at 610-565-0300. Call Dave Cherry directly at 610-565-0300. Or check him out at CherryInjuryLaw.com. Again, that phone number is 610-565-0300. So, like I said, outside of that, this game was kind of a cruise control game. Win or loss didn't really make a difference. You want to keep yourself moving healthy and warm and keep from getting cold and rusty. But at the same time, you don't want to overdo it. And I think they had a fair balance of that. I have to give Tomper and this team a kind of like, it's kind of hard to do when you lock things up a little early. Because last year, if you guys remember, we didn't lock it up to the last series. We were already, Houston was already won. We needed one more win, and Aaron Nola, of course, got that for us, and the rest is history. So, we have a little extra time because now we have a whole series against the Mets. So we have 3 games left in the season, but we are done at CBP until the postseason, until Wednesday, which, let's be honest, guys, that place if there was a lid on it, it'd be blown right off. We saw it last year. I think it's just going to be even higher this year. Like, nothing's better than good baseball in Philadelphia. I'm just, as a baseball fan, as a 40-year-old man who's been following this team since '93, it's this team. When the Phillies are good, the world is good. This city is good, and this town goes nuts. And talk about just a boost for the economy and this city. It's just, this place is just going to be crazy. Let's just cross our fingers for a great postseason run, and hopefully getting over that hump and getting that trip down Broad Street. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. One game at a time, like Tomper says. But we still have 3 games ahead of us. The Mets are the team that I'm talking about. The Mets will have nothing to play for. Spoiler. And honestly, I wonder if they're going to even start any of their guys. That team has had a streak of bad luck. I mean, let's call it for what it is. The team was just bad. It started with Diaz when he hurt himself in the World Baseball Classic celebrating. And then it's kind of snowballing. The team just couldn't get any traction. And then they ended up kind of selling everything and getting rid of their stuff and kind of starting over at the deadline. So the Mets, I don't know. Do you play if you're the Mets, do you guys try to show some face and play hard against this team since the last 3 games of the season? Or do you, in chance possibly hurting one of your big pieces? Or do you kind of do what the Phillies would probably be doing, is putting it on cruise control and putting in a lineup that balances out, so every night guys are kind of getting a little time off and rest? If I'm the Mets owner, I'm doing that. I'm not chancing luck the way luck has not been on my side this year. Personally, that's just what I'm doing. But I mean, they can't even pay spoilers. I mean, at this point, like, at least if you could pay spoiler and knock us out of the playoffs, you can, notch that on your wall. But you can't even do that. So personally, I wouldn't do it. But hey, we'll see. The Mets organization, that's on them. So your winning pitcher tonight is Ortiz. Your losing pitcher tonight is Strom, and the save went to Bednar at the end there. We saw that at the save. Really good. He's a really good closer in the Major League Baseball. So let's look around the league real quick and do a little scoreboard watching, because we can then get the wild card look out and see where the Phillies, if we can possibly find out who the Phillies will be playing. But let's look at this around the league right now. The Mets are tied with Miami, nothing, top of the 8th. I'm sorry, bottom of the 8th. So, and the Mets have something on second with 1 out. The Yankees are losing 6-0 to Toronto at the bottom of the 7th. Atlanta is beating Chicago Cubs. 5-2, the bottom of the sixth. LA and Colorado are tied up 3-3 at the end. That just second just closed out, so they're going into the third. Seattle and Texas are the Rangers are about to start up, so there's nothing going on right there. Detroit walloped Kansas City 8-0. Oakland beat Minnesota 2-1. Chicago White Sox beat Arizona 3-1. I mean, there's two teams. Arizona needs wins, and Chicago needs wins, and it's going to come down to the wire before we know who we're going to be playing. It looks like Milwaukee beat St. Louis 3-0, and of course, Baltimore beat Boston 2-0. So that is your out-of-town scoreboards. So let's go to the current standings where everything's at. So with that being said, Miami and Chicago are all tied up for that third wild card spot. Chicago was a team I really was kind of nervous about, but they may not make it in. Arizona is 1.5 games above the rest of those two teams. But if they lose tonight and Chicago somehow pulls out a win, or Miami does, it's going to get real tight. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Even if you're not involved, you're not, big deal. Everything's all locked up. It's just these races are just interesting to watch how things can play out. Like, I thought Chicago had the 2 spot and it was going to be Arizona and Miami kind of duking it out. But I guess not. Like, I guess just I don't know how to say this. I just guess not. But yeah, like I said, looking at the game right now, Atlanta is beating up Chicago 5-2, bottom of 6. And Arizona already lost, as I said. And where was the other game? Hold on one second, guys. I want to just make sure I didn't forget anything, because I wanted to get that Mets game. It might have ended. Oh, no. Here it is. It's still bottom of the 8th. So that's gonna be something to watch. That game's tied up at 0-0 right now. So Cubs are losing. Miami is tied right now, and Arizona lost, so they really can't build any more ground at this point. So if no matter what, if Miami wins, say for instance, you have to hope Miami loses and Chicago continues to lose, just so they can keep that 1.5 games above right now. Because if they win, then it's a half game between 3 teams, and it gets really, really tight there. Even to the point there could be a play-in game if things stay as tight as they are. But Phillies sit at the top wild card spot, so we'll see who we're going to be playing. But right now, if everything stays the same, it will be the Arizona Diamondbacks coming to Philly, which in all feels better to me. I guess is the best way to put it. It feels better to me. But other than that, guys, that is about it. Like I said, it's not a ton to talk about. I'm not going to sit here and just drudge on and for nothing. Right now is the calm before the storm. We're getting ready. I just want you guys to stay ready for the postseason. We will have new schedules put out once we know what the Phillies postseason schedule will be. About if there's any overlap with our shows, we will move shows around so we can dedicate that time to the Phillies postseason run. So keep track of EOP Sports, and we will always update schedules and everything for you, so you guys know where we'll be at, and we'll be here to cover you and guide you through a postseason run for the Phillies, as well as, don't forget, an Eagles great 3-0 start. So pre-half and post-game shows this weekend. I'll be putting out the schedule for that actually later tonight and early tomorrow morning. You'll probably see it. But there's a ton of coverage here at EOP. Very proud of my team here, and this is where we really come together. This is it. Like, you're used to seeing me, you're used to seeing Matty B or Mike or Pat or whoever. Now you're going to be seeing the team in action, because it is a team effort. So, guys, I appreciate all you here at checking in at EOP. And speaking of, I want to make sure I give the love out here to my EOP brethren, because, like I said, great lineup. And here is your lineup for the rest of the week. So if you missed any of this, outside of the pre, half, and post game shows, they're all podcasted, or you can go watch any of these shows back on the YouTube page, or easily go to the website at eopsports.com. Everything's on there. Pat was covering for Mike in his Locker Room Sports Show. He did an early show for you guys today. And I know the Sacking Third guys, I think they're going on right now. So get done with me and switch over there and check it out. Steel Steps are on tomorrow. We got a special Matty B show coming Saturday morning. It's not on here. Move things around because of the game. The Eagles game got in the way of his show. So he'll have a special coverage of that Saturday morning, plus the Phightins final. And then Eagles half and post game shows for the Commanders. Another fight, the last Phightins final of the regular season, all across all the time, as well as PM in the AM to kick off your Sunday mornings. I'll be there with Pat and Mike as always, guys. Again, thank you for this joining us on this long journey. 3 more games left for the regular season, and then 13 more wins to the World Series parade, my friends. And I'm going to stay positive and say that. I usually don't like to jinx this, but I feel very confident in this team. They have the ability to do it. Let's see if they can prove it. Guys, other than that, I'm Big Al. Check us out, eopsports.com, and thank you for following us all on social media. Smash those subscribe buttons and follow buttons, guys. Take it easy.